Have you ever noticed that the moment boredom creeps in, the instinct is to escape? To reach for a phone, turn on the TV, or drown the silence in endless distractions? Yet, boredom is not an enemy. It is a door, a passage into the depths of the mind, where the greatest ideas have always been born. Most of us fear boredom, not because it is painful, but because it forces us to face ourselves. When there are no distractions left, the unanswered questions of life emerge. Questions about purpose, meaning, and the reality we often avoid. But history tells us this: those who have embraced boredom, who have allowed themselves to sit in solitude and think, have changed the world. In today's world, avoiding boredom has become an obsession. The modern mind is constantly overstimulated. Social media, entertainment, endless noise, anything but silence. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "He who completely entrenches himself against boredom also entrenches himself against himself." This is the tragedy of the modern age. People fear solitude because it forces them to confront who they really are. They fear boredom because it reveals what they lack. Consider this. How often do you see someone waiting in line without looking at their phone? How many people can sit alone in a quiet room without feeling restless? When was the last time you allowed yourself to simply exist, without distraction? By avoiding boredom, we avoid deep thought. By drowning in entertainment, we numb ourselves to the brilliance that lies dormant within us. It is no coincidence that the most creative minds in history were also people who spent large amounts of time alone, lost in thought. Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher who deeply explored human intellect, wrote, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is truly free." Boredom forces the mind to become creative. Without external stimulation, the brain starts making connections, forming new ideas, and seeing the world differently. By constantly escaping boredom, we weaken our ability to focus on deep tasks. We stifle creativity by never giving the mind space to wander. We lose touch with ourselves, unable to hear the thoughts buried beneath the noise. But for those who embrace boredom, the rewards are extraordinary. The great thinkers who found genius in boredom history is filled with examples of how boredom has led to some of the greatest discoveries and creations. 1. Isaac Newton and the birth of gravity. The famous story of Newton sitting under an apple tree, watching an apple fall, is more than just a legend. It is a testament to what happens when the mind is left to think. Newton was alone in his garden, lost in thought, when he began questioning why objects fall. He was not distracted by social media, entertainment, or meaningless conversation. His mind was free to connect ideas. Had he been born in today's world, constantly scrolling through TikTok or YouTube, would he have made his discoveries? 2. James Watt and the steam engine. Another example is James Watt. Sitting in his kitchen, bored, he watched a kettle boil. Instead of ignoring it, he questioned why steam behaved the way it did. This simple observation led to one of the greatest technological revolutions of all time. The steam engine transformed industry, travel, and economics. Yet it all started with a moment of boredom. 3. Steve Jobs and the power of silence. Even in modern times, boredom has played a role in innovation. Steve Jobs famously embraced solitude. He often took long walks alone, allowing his mind to wander and explore new ideas. One of his greatest innovations, the iPod, was reportedly conceived when he was bored on a long flight, frustrated with the limited entertainment options available. These stories are not coincidences. They reveal a pattern. When the mind is free from distractions, it discovers things the distracted mind never will. Philosophers like Blaise Pascal have long understood this. He once wrote, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." What does this mean? It means that without distraction, the mind is forced to think, and thinking leads to growth. If you want to sharpen your focus, start by eliminating distractions. If you want to enhance your creativity, allow yourself to experience boredom. And if you want to truly understand yourself, spend time alone in silence. How to use boredom to your advantage. Stop filling every free moment with distraction. The next time you feel bored, resist the urge to pick up your phone or turn on the TV. Let your mind wander. Spend time in solitude. Take walks without music. Sit alone with your thoughts. The greatest thinkers in history, Plato, Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, knew that solitude breeds wisdom. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Boredom feels uncomfortable at first, but like any skill, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Use boredom to think deeply. When you have nothing to distract you, ask yourself questions. What do you want in life? What are your biggest fears? What problems do you want to solve? Why you must embrace boredom? The world will always push you toward distraction, but the choice is yours. You can avoid boredom, filling every moment with noise, never hearing your own thoughts, and losing your creative potential. Or you can embrace boredom, let your mind think freely, and unlock ideas that could change your life. Remember Schopenhauer's words: "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see." If you want to see what others cannot, you must do what others will not. Sit in silence and think. Boredom is not the enemy. It is the beginning of brilliance. But what do you think? Have you ever had a great idea in a moment of boredom? Share your thoughts in the comments.